Ow! Greetings, YouTube. This is DecKrash, better known as Brandon, and as promised, I'm back with another review of Tron Uprising, the new series on Disney XD. Finally got a chance to check out the most recent episode, the Renegade Part 1, so it is a two-parter, so this is going to end with sort of a cliffhanger. Okay, so what we have, it starts off with Beck being trained by Tron, and Tron trying to tell him that he needs to have some confidence in himself, and he tries to test him out by jumping over this cliff out in the outlands, the undeveloped areas around the city. And he tries to jump over this chasm, and Beck hesitated and ended up losing his bike. So Tron pretty much tells him you need to have a bit more confidence. So Beck is kind of distraught about this and still doubting about whether or not he can really truly make a difference in the grid, even being the next Tron. And he goes back home, forgetting that it's past curfew. It seems that that Clue's forces have enforced a curfew, and they're rounding up all the programs who violate curfew to go make them play in the games. And for those of you, of course, who know anything about Tron, the games are pretty much a death sentence for any program without any kind of skill. Fortunately, Beck has skill in droves. He manages to evade the forces that are after him, but ends up trying to hide in this containment box, not realizing that it's a transport carrier for other programs that are being sent to the games, and so now he's in the games. But he ends up befriending another program who was actually a soldier during the time that Clue was purging the ISOs. If you don't know what the ISOs are, let me give you a little bit of Tron history if you have not seen the second movie. ISOs were these programs that the system seemed to just produce out of its own accord. No one wrote them, neither Flynn nor anyone from NCOM. And so Flynn saw them as a miracle, whereas Clue saw them as aberrations because he doesn't like imperfection. So he basically slaughtered all the ISOs. I guess some programs actually fought to defend the ISOs, but in the end of the day, they were all killed. This particular program fought in that war and had heard of Tron coming back and fighting for the users once again, not knowing that it's Beck. So Beck befriends this program and ends up fighting in the games as the games are getting more and more lethal. And General Tessler is watching over the whole thing, and he just gets more and more. It just gets angrier and angrier, seeing Beck and his friend winning these games, because he realized these are just seditious programs because they tried to make a run for it at one point in time, and they ended up getting caught by the program that was fighting against Beck in the preview episode, prequel episode, excuse me. Prequel? Yeah, prologue, excuse me. Anyway, all that aside, so as a final slap in the face to the two programs, he forces them to fight each other for their freedom, and that's where the episode ends. And as a side story, Beck's friend Zed, another mechanic program, ends up going to a club with Mara, the other program who's friends with them. Now Zed is secretly in love with Mara. They pretty much make that in no uncertain terms, but he keeps on getting friend zoned by Mara. Then he meets this other program girl who seems to be very, very interested in him, but just basically uses him to steal this vintage vintage light cycle from the head of the garage. So now you have Zed, who ends up getting knocked out while she steals the bike. He's completely buggered 50 ways till Friday now. So I have to say, on the whole, this was a very strong start out the gate for Tron Legacy, and just seeing the games, just the high powered action, seeing the programs fighting each other with the discs, and they had multiple types of games. When they captured Beck and his friend, they put them back in the games. They said, well, you want to be a team so much, and they put these two manacles on them and hooked them together by this laser line thing. And so they had to go fight against a bunch of other programs on light cycles that were trying to ram them. And seeing them get out of that was really a sight to behold. It was pretty awesome. It harkened back to the movie. And just seeing Zed kind of get led along by this other program, you kind of figured that that's what was going to happen, because the program girl's kind of watching Zed, and she kind of looks at this other program in the club who kind of nods to her. So they kind of, telegraphed that one pretty easily. So that was a little bit of a side plot to kind of, I guess, take some of the tension off, but pretty much was very predictable. But like I said, strong start out the gate for Tron Uprising. Seeing that there are other programs out there who actually are trying to fight against Clue's regime for freedom, and also explores a little bit more of Beck's resolve and the situation he finds himself in, being realizing that he needs to be the symbol that everyone else needs to be, seeing how Tron was basically put out of commission. So the way that it ended on that cliffhanger really just had the hairs on the back of my neck standing on end, realizing, oh man, this is really going to be interesting. Now, it's not something I haven't seen before. If you've ever watched shows, TV shows or movies about people trying to topple, regimes, you do have that kind of thing where it's a situation, the two, he finds a friend and they get put into gladiatorial matches, and they realize, well, you two seem to be working well together, so we're going to make you fight each other to the death. So it's not something that you haven't seen before, but it's still really cool. And then, like I said, it was a strong start out the gate for the story. That's about the third time I've said that, but it's basically the best way I can describe it. So I personally can't wait for the next episode, which is supposed to be coming out next week. And so I most certainly will be back next week to talk about that next episode, see how things all turned out. I'm really, really digging this series, and maybe it's just the Tron fanboy in me, but I'm really liking it. But like I said before, in the first review that I did, animation quality is great, and the story looks like it's very, very solid through and through. So till next time, people, I'll be seeing you for the next Tron review. And as always, DecKrash, better known as Brandon. Oh, before I say it, comment, rate, subscribe down below in the comment section. As always, keep it civil. Now, this is DecKrash, better known as Brandon. Stay lucky and stay blessed, guys.